Hello, there is no sound.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now we are good. Sahana bhavatu sahana punatu saha viryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Together we will chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verses 11 to 20.
अवजानन्ति मां मूढाः मानुषीं तनुमाश्रितम् परं भावमजानन्तः मम भूतमहेश्वरम् मोघाशामोघकर्माणः मोघज्ञानाविचेतसः राक्षसीमासुरीं चैव प्रकृतिं मोहिनीं श्रिताः महात्मानस्तु मां पार्थ दैवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रिताः भजन्त्यनन्यमनसः ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम् सततं कीर्तयन्तो मां यतन्तश्च दृढव्रताः नमस्यन्तश्च मां भक्त्या नित्ययुक्ता उपासते ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम् अहं क्रतुरहं यज्ञः स्वधाहमहमौषधम् मन्त्रोऽहमहमेवाज्यम् अहमग्निरहं हुतम् पिताहमस्य जगतः माता धाता पितामहः वेद्यं पवित्रमोङ्कारः ऋक्सामयजुरेव च गतिर्भर्ता प्रभुः साक्षी निवासः शरणं सुहृत् प्रभवः प्रलयस्थानम् निधानं बीजमव्ययम् तपाम्यहमहं वर्षम् निगृह्णाम्युत्सृजामि च अमृतं चैव मृत्युश्च सदसच्चाहमर्जुन त्रैविद्या मां सोमपाः पूतपापाः यज्ञैरिष्ट्वा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अश्नन्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देव भोगान्।
There were no bhajans before class today. I don't know why that was so, but whoever was in charge of the bhajans, please communicate with everybody as to why it was not. You don't need to know why it wasn't there, but that it isn't there, because like people are like, what's going on? Even when I switch it on, I'm like wondering what happened. Is there something wrong? The basic question that everybody would have is there something wrong with my computer? Because most of us are not so tech savvy. So please put it on the chat if for whatever reason there is going to be some change in our program, any change. And from that, um, for the whole class, maybe this is a lesson for all of us to learn, that let us learn to communicate with each other. Because when you leave people to decide for themselves what the matter is, they usually come up with wrong conclusions. So it's always a good idea to inform people, okay, this has happened or that has happened. You don't have to go into some long Ram Katha. There's some who over communicate. No, Ram Katha is required. Just say, like the bhajans aren't there. So nobody is struggling to figure out if something's wrong with their computer or their network or whatever it is. Just little bit charitable instinct towards how other people look at things. Okay, just for us to learn this lesson, everyone in the class to learn this lesson. Okay, Mr. Srinivasan says God is omnipresent. Bhagwan says there are two natures, correct? The lower nature pertains to Apara, Prakriti, the world, our Vasanas and BMI, correct? Higher nature is the self, correct? Is it right to say that our focus must be on the Lord's higher nature? Yes, that's correct. Of course, it must be on the Lord's higher nature, on the assumption, of course, that you can do that. If you cannot do that, then you do it on as high as you can. Asha, in the last class, it was said, when you want to have a steady state of happiness, the mind must grow into that. When you want to have a steady state of happiness, the mind must grow into that. Can you please explain how this is to be done? Asha, last 20 years, what you have been doing is what you have to be doing. What are you asking? Do your karma, do your bhakti, do your jnana. How else will you do? So what is the steady state of happiness? Think about it. Just think about it for yourself. What is a steady state of happiness? A steady state of absence of agitation, right? If you're not agitated, then you're happy. Correct? Simple. Now, how do we get agitated? We get agitated because we have desires. As long as we have desires, we have no option but to be agitated. Only the thing will change, the excuse will change, but the agitation will stay. One day you'll say, my mother is agitating me. One day you'll say, my father is agitating me. One day you'll say, my brother is agitating me. My husband is agitating me. My wife is agitating me. My children are agitating me. My grandchildren are agitating me. The excuse will change. The agitation stays the same. What you claim is the cause of the agitation will change. The agitation stays the same. So you have to ask yourself the question, where is this agitation generated from itself? And then if you think about it deeply, you will come to the conclusion that all agitation is nothing but desire. There is nothing. So if you want to reach a state devoid of agitation, you will have to reach a state which is devoid of
Desire.
desire. So how do we reach a state devoid of desire? Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. What else? It's all very, very simple, Asha. You know this. So you have been studying it 20 years, right, Asha, now? Isn't it 20 years already? Okay, more.
Yes, Janki.
Yeah. So
Yes,
then
20.
what are you asking? Because you already know this. I didn't tell you anything you don't know. So what are you asking? What is it further you want to know? Vedanta's only simple formulas. Simple. What is happiness? Absence of agitation. What is agitation? Desire. How do you reach absence of agitation? Remove desire. Simple, no? The simplest subject. There's no difficulty in none. Everything else confuses us. The only thing in this world that doesn't confuse us is Vedanta. I say, no, I find it very confusing. Why do we find Vedanta confusing? All confusion comes from
enlightenment.
all
Our wrong
confusion comes
understanding.
from
Enlightenment comes from confusion. So sorry.
Our wrong
Ignorance.
Mind.
Ignorance.
Mind.
Ignorance.
We don't study.
Lack of effort.
Misunderstanding.
You all are not wrong, but what is the root of all of this?
Desires.
Desires. Desires. If you don't have a desire, you won't have any confusion in life. What is the confusion? Why do what is attachment? Attachment is a thought flow. What does it do? It makes you depend upon that object for your happiness. So what do? You can't start making demands on that object to give you this, that, so that you will become happy. What is confusing? Nothing is confusing. But can anybody understand attachment? We all behave with attachment. The concept of attachment is the most complicated thing on the surface of this earth. Why do we find it so complicated? It's not complicated. It's just simple formulas. Why do we behave like it's a big complicated thing, these relationships? Why is it so complicated to us?
Because we have desires.
Desires. That's why it's complicated. Otherwise, it's simple as anything in the world. So Vedanta appears complicated to us. It is because we are seeing the subject through a curtain of desires, and therefore the vision is getting blurred. Otherwise, it's just common sense. For a person without desire, Vedanta is common sense. For a person with desires, Vedanta is complicated. For a person without desires, all of Vedanta is communicated in 2 words. Just 2 words. All of Vedanta, the entire knowledge of Vedanta. 2 words is all it takes to explain what Vedanta is. Does anybody know what those 2 words are?
Self-effort.
Aham
What
Brahmasmi.
Vedanta is? Huh?
Aham Brahmasmi.
How many words is that, Aditi?
Aham Brahmasmi.
Asha, how many words have you used? I said 2 words. You all fall for every trap like a thing. Not once you all think, okay, wait, this is different. Omkar, this is different. Don't say that time you said this, and this time you're saying this. Yes, I'm saying it differently. So that you get the point. You don't fall into the trap of some words. Remove desires. Okay, at least you got 2 words. So Vinita, you're that much ahead of the game. No, I'm saying
Oneness.
remove desires, Vinita, is an instruction. In Vedanta, pure Vedanta, there are no instructions. Nobody is telling you to remove desire. Who told you to remove desires? Nobody told you. They only said that absence, agitation is caused by desire. If you want to remove agitation, the only way is removing desires. Nobody is telling you to remove desires. You want to keep them, go right ahead. It's your life and your problem. So all of Vedanta for desireless people means when very, very highly developed people. Vedanta is communicated in only 2 words. What are those 2 words?
Brahman Satyam.
What?
Brahman Satyam.
Brahman Satyam, okay. Correct. You can say those are 2 words at least, so you're that much ahead of the game. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. It's one of the most famous ones. Asha, again you got 3 words. Aham, Brahma, Asmi are 3 words. But if you put them together and call them 2, okay. No, nothing. None of this is told.
Mama Dharma.
What?
Mama Dharma.
Mama Dharma. In the old times, when it was Satya Yuga, and it was the people were very, very bright and smart, and their values were very high in life, and they had very few desires. There was actually a huge mumukshatva in them, at least amongst the top of that caliber. There was a huge mumukshatva, and they went searching maybe for years to find. There wasn't even that much population, remember? So they went maybe searching for years to find a guru who would tell them what is the truth. And they would find maybe somebody after years sitting in the Himalayas, and they would ask, because they've already done their homework, they would come and ask, is this the truth? To which the master would say to them, Neti, Neti. Na iti. Na iti. Na iti means not that. They would say, is this the truth? They go back and think, come back and say, is this the truth? Na iti. Na iti. By Sandhi rules, Neti, 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 Neti. That was all the teacher said to them. That's it. That was the entire tuition. And then he would ask the question, is this correct? He would say, no, it's not, and close his eyes in meditation. Now you can't speak to him again. Now you go and think for yourself whatever you want to think. So if you're at that level, then you don't need any instruction. But as the level of desires keep rising, and therefore our caliber keeps reducing, a lot of explanation becomes necessary. Or we simply won't get it. Okay? So way back in the hoary past, they taught it with these two words. When the intellect deteriorated and people were not able to understand with this, then they told them, Tattvam Asi. They made the tuition from 2 words into 3 words. Tattvam Asi. That thou art. This was considered to be great explanation. And then many millennia, I don't know how many years followed, and people still didn't get it. I mean, they couldn't get it. They couldn't understand what that line meant. Then they wrote notes on that line. Those notes on that one line, Tattvamasi, are what we today call the Upanishads. I explained it. That means they used 10 lines instead of 3 words. And then many years gone by. Intellect is deteriorating, desires are growing, and then they wrote something else to explain it, and that was called the Bhagavad Gita. 700 verses. It was not clear. So you have the 100,000 verses of Mahabharata, not clear. 50,000 verses of the Ramayana, not clear. And the literature grew now into a mountain. There's an ocean of literature currently on the subject. But our comprehension is no better than that boy, some young boy who went into that high Himalayan mountain and asked his teacher, is this the truth? And he said, maybe. We didn't get to that point at all. So we are going to plow our way. Slowly, we are going to make a way there. Wherever we are starting from here. Okay.
Janki-ji,
Yeah.
can I ask a question here? Just a clarification. Is there a reason known as to why this deterioration of intellect happened?
It's the nature. It's Prakriti. It's nature. This is how it always happens. This is the law of nature, that deterioration will take place. Atrophy is inherent in the system. Deterioration is inherent in the system. Like today you did jhadu pocha of your house, or your staff did jhadu pocha of your house. Let them not do it tomorrow and the day after or the day after. Deterioration is natural. To prevent deterioration, you have to put in effort. Effort is not natural. Leave any piece of land just like that. Don't look at it. Don't bother. It'll be full of weeds, right? That's just the law of nature. Atrophy is inherent. Even as we talk, deterioration is taking place, we are going that much closer towards destruction. The earth will one day crash into the sun, right? So it won't one day get up and crash into the sun. That movement is currently taking place, which will one day end up in the solar system sort of collapsing on itself. Everything is like that. Even people say, I'm aging. What is aging? It's natural deterioration. It's the natural cycle. You're born, you grow, you start deteriorating. You have to live a life of tremendous discipline that at 94, you will be at Swamiji's level of physical ability. Tremendous. Whole lifetime of discipline at every level of the personality. If you put in that kind of effort, then naturally you will slow down the rate of deterioration. Like, who is that chap? Or what is his name? I forgot. The fellow who runs 4G Singh at 104. Huh?
Fauja Singh.
Fauja Singh at 104, he's doing marathons. He is preventing deterioration. You'll have to put in work. Now you're young, Akhila, and your face is unscarred with wrinkles. And then as you see later on, slowly you will see the lines, the wrinkles, all of them form. Now, if you come to 75 without any wrinkles and without any deterioration in your face, we will know for certain that you have
Put in effort. Put in effort.
Have to put in effort. Otherwise, the deterioration will take place. So this is the nature of the world. So long explanation to explain that atrophy is part of the system. Everything will crumble and collapse on itself.
Thank you,
A
Janaki.
relationship will crumble and collapse on itself if you don't take care. Everything will collapse. Everything requires maintenance. So, often there is a suggestion in philosophy that keep it simple, simple living, high thinking. Why do you think that suggestion is made? Because anything you touch will start deteriorating the moment you touch it. Right? That means you'll have to put in all that maintenance. Please choose what you want to put in effort on. Basically, that's what it's saying. However many things you collect, that many things you have to maintain. Otherwise, they will deteriorate. Buy a custard apple and bring it home. And just leave it on your kitchen counter. What will happen? Deteriorate. So,
Thank you,
simplify
Janaki.
life. Yeah. Simplify life means have less things to maintain. Okay, so verse 15 told us, have I finished everything? Verse 15 told us that Brahman is all pervading. And having told us Brahman is all pervading, what did we do? We said, okay, boring. Brahman is all pervading. God is all pervading. So, main kya karu? Okay, so we didn't bother about that sentence so much. And you say, oh, facing all directions. Maybe that time you said, very nice, very nice. God is all pervading. There is no place where God is. Now you're very happy. Then after you close the book, you forgot about God and his all pervading nature and continued with your life as is. He knows what we do. So he devised a system by which we can use the fact as a, what should I say, aid and assistance in our sadhana. So how will we use it as an aid and assistance in our sadhana? By understanding what does it mean God is all pervading. So as you sit now and there's a screen in front of you, right? And in the screen, there's a computer or a laptop or I don't know, whatever in front of you, an iPad, whatever you're seeing this thing on. So what he's saying is, that electronic device in front of you, that is me. If God is all pervading, and that's true, right? That means that electronic device you're looking at is God. Look out of the window and you see a nice green tree. That's God. Look at the window, you see a curtain. That's God. That's what he's saying. So when we talk of the Lord as being all-pervading, we don't understand what he's trying to say. So he's telling us, Aham kratu. I am kratu. Means I'm that ritual, the Vedic ritual which they do. Aham yajna. I am the yajna. Swadha. Swadha is the offering you made to the ancestors. Aushadham. Aushadham is the medicinal herb. All the various herbs that you offer into the yajna. I am mantra. Aham means I. Aham mantra. Aham ajam. Ajam is ghee. Aham mantra. I am the mantra that is being chanted along with the ritual. You know, in every religion, you will have a chanting that goes on with the ritual. There'll be some ritual going on and then be something being said along with that ritual. So I am that ritual. I am what you put into the ritual. I am the sounds that are associated with that ritual. I am ajam. I am ghee. The ghee, which is supposed to be the purest and best, the essence of the milk, that which you offer into the yajna. I am that. I am the fire in the yajna. I am the fire also. I am the hutam. The hutam is the burnt. It's burnt, right, afterwards. I am the hutam. Now why is he saying that? Because that is what Arjuna must have been experiencing, right, at that time. Now what are we experiencing? We are experiencing this class. So the iPad, the electronic device in front of you is Brahman. The sound that you're hearing is Brahman. The offering that you are making of your ignorance into this yajna is Brahman. You are Brahman. I am Brahman. That's what he's saying. He's showing how the self is all pervading. The self in you, the self in me, the self in the fan, and the self in the curtain is all one and the same. It is the one all-pervading reality. But instead of seeing that essence, we get carried away with the Namarupa. We will see the electronic device. We will see the curtain. We will see the fan. We will see Anita. We'll see Shilpa. We'll see Naeem. We'll see Smita. We'll see Manoj. But we will miss the self within. It's almost like, imagine this, that electricity has just come to a village just got electrified, and the bulb started, and the fan started, and the radio started. And what would the villagers do? They'd be so excited with all of that. They would forget about the electricity. They're not even concerned with it. They're concerned with the light and the fan. Now what happens? They don't care about the electricity. They ignore the electricity. And then suddenly there is no electricity because nobody was taking care of that. There's a lovely story in Kena Upanishad about it, that the gods were rejoicing. They just won a war and they were rejoicing. And they forgot that it was Brahman that helped them win the war. So a yaksha came there and they could not find out who is that yaksha. So like that, we also get reminders. We forget, no? We forget there is a power. We forget there is something above us. We are all excited, the job, promotion, study, children, parents, khana ke aaj banega. We're so excited about all these things. We forget the most important things of life. And when you forget it, then what happens?
You get beaten up.
Knock on the head.
Yes. And today we are, and we get all these reminders from the Lord. And today we are going through a lovely reminder period. Not today, last 2 years, we are going through a lovely reminder period. God says, "Acha, मैं भूल गया और सब कर रहे हो. I've forgotten all that I exist." You're saying, "Oh, what about my home loan? What about my children's education? What about my health? All these things are important and God is not. Acha bhaiya, thoda ek jhatka le lo. Then you'll wake up a bit. And that happened, right? Look at us now. More people are interested in Vedanta than they were when things were okay. Some of us woke up. Some of us will go back to sleep. How many of us will keep on track as a commitment for the rest of your life? This is the most important thing. Everything else, though it has to be done, is secondary. This comprehension has to come to us one day. It's not, doesn't mean you stop doing everything else. You don't have children, you don't get married, you don't have work, you don't have money. Or shit. That's silly. You should have all these things. But you can't forget the most important thing because you have these things. So imagine that. The villagers are fooling around with all the gadgets that the electricity provides and take no care of the electricity itself. So then chatka they will get one way or the other. Electricity will go, or some loose thing will give them one shock, something or the other will happen. Exactly as it happens with us. So your primary duty in life, therefore, would be to remember the truth. Remember that truth and do whatever you want. Not like, oh, you remember the truth and wear ochre robes and I don't know what you think you have to do. All you have to do is keep it in your mind. Make sure you are committed to understanding it's the single most important thing. And no matter what happens, the good times or the bad times, that will not leave your mind. That's it. That's all the commitment you have to make. Make that commitment and everything else will fall in place. The whole text actually is only telling you to make that much of a commitment. In fact, this 9th chapter is really drilling it in. I hope we get it.
Hariom, madam.
Yeah.
I have a doubt. In the start part of the chapter, it's clearly mentioned that the self is not involved with the world. So how will, why would the self punish or appreciate or give us a reward, right? So that's slightly confusing.
Yeah, the self doesn't do it. You will get a reminder. It's not like this electricity decides to go away or the electricity has a short circuit. Since you're not looking after what you should be looking after, you face the consequences.
Okay, because of maintenance, we face trouble. Okay.
Maintenance of the thought of the self. You don't maintain the thought of the self. You get involved in the world. The world is subject to change. The change will take place and zoop, we'll be hit very badly. Exactly what's happening now, isn't it?
So people who have focused on the self, even in this time, will not go through trouble.
Yeah, of course not. You can't, excuse me, think about it. What is a trouble? Every trouble on the surface of this earth is only one thing. What is it? Can anybody tell me in few words?
Desire.
Desire.
It's not desire.
Self-management.
Interruption of
Focus.
Interruption of desire. Very good. All our troubles are nothing but a desire interrupted. It is that simple. Okay, if you didn't have a desire in the first place, who's going to interrupt your desire? So how will you not have a desire? How will you not have a desire?
If you focus on self.
Yeah.
Understand this knowledge.
Yeah, focus on the self. It's so simple, no? There's nothing very complicated in this whole affair. Focus on the self. Okay, when you focus on the self, what is happening? What is the mechanism taking place? The thoughts which were rushing to the world will now go to the self. So what is a desire? The thoughts rushing towards something. So now that your thoughts are rushing towards the self, they're not rushing towards objects and beings of the world. So there's no desire. What is a desire? Only your thoughts going somewhere. That's all it is, isn't it? That's why they say attached to the higher, lower falls off.
Thank you, Ji. Very nicely put. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ganesh. However, that's exactly what we have been saying all this time. But the problem is, it suddenly occurs to us. That's why you need to, that morning study, you just sit down and stare at your page if you can't do anything else. And suddenly it'll occur to you. What will occur to you? Man minus desires is equal to God. But that you had been studying for the last 20 years. It won't occur. And once it occurs to you, you're on a different platform. Oh, it's simple. You get any idea. So focus on that. Now he's helping us focus. So what did he do? First he said every part of the yajna, which there must have been some yajna going on, some puja, something going on, right, before the start of the war. So he said, okay, so all that is me. Now let's see what else. All he's doing is helping us focus. He's saying, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Next 3 chapters, you're going to hear what all he is. Okay. The whole point is, it's all an explanation of the simple idea that he is all pervading. He is everything. Once you fix that in your head, the next few chapters are very simple because that's all he's telling us. All the way up to chapter 12. Okay, at the end of chapter 11. We have him helping us to focus our attention on the self. So he does that again in verse 17. Gita hamasya jagataha mata thata pitamaha vidyam pavitramomkaraha ruksamayajureva cha Pitahamasya jagataha Mata thata pitamaha Vedyam pavitramomkaraha Ruksamayajureva cha Aham Pita aham Asya jagataha Aham Asya jagataha Pitaha Pita I am the Pita, the father of Asya Jagat, this Jagat, of this world. Mata, I am also the Mata, I am the mother. I am Dhata, I am the sustainer. I am Pitamaha. Pitamaha, is grandfather. So I am the mother, I am the father, I am the grandfather. Now feminists will say, how come he is grandfather and not grandmother? This was before the time such questions arose. You have to understand what this means. What does it mean that I'm mother, father, and grandfather? How can he be both? How can he all three? He has to make up his mind which he is. All the great sages have told us. Everybody, everywhere, every religion tells us this. I am the father of this world. I am the mother of this world. Means what? Like what he has already told us. I am Prakriti, I am Purusha. I am both sides. I am the immanent, I am the transcendent. I am everything you see, I am which you do not see. I am the father means I am the spirit. I am the mother means I am matter or vasanas. So I am both. It is like the gold saying. I am the gold, I'm also the ornament. Isn't it? If you have a gold ring, that ring is gold itself. It's like the waker's mind saying. Imagine you're asleep, and in your sleep you see so many things. You see London, and you see Delta, and you see so many things happening. And you see people getting Delta there, and I don't know what you see in your So the waker's mind can say, I am London, I am that which is the base of London. Means what you're seeing is London in the dream, right? I'm also that which enables that you to see that London. So I'm London, I am you, I am the delta you're seeing, I'm all these things. And not those things either. Because the mind is not London, if you understand what that means. You're seeing the London in your dream. The dream, the entire dream is the mind. And what is the basis of that dream? It's also the mind. There's nothing other than the mind over there. So I am the father means I am the spirit. I am the mother means I am the prakriti, the vasana, the matter, whatever you are seeing. I am pitamaha. I am grandfather. He has not actually explained this concept to us so far, but he's going to explain this entire concept in great detail in chapter 15. That is why chapter 15 is considered to be what should I say? Everybody knows chapter 15 by heart because it's supposed to be almost at the level of Upanishads. In fact, in very traditional societies, they chant the entire chapter 15 before meals. So I am the world. I am what is the supporter of the world. I also exist beyond the world. So if you think of God in 3 stages, then it will be something like take some clay pots and clay. Suppose you think clay is talking to us. So clay will say, I am those clay pots. I am the clay in those clay pots. And I as clay exist well beyond the pots you are currently seeing. So I am the world, this entire universe. I am the spirit behind this entire universe. And I exist way beyond the universe. Pita hamasya jagataha mata dhata pitamaha. So grandfather means I exist beyond this combination of Prakriti and Purusha. Okay, now suppose this is our universe. Okay, this hand is the universe. So everything in the hand is God. That which enables this hand to work is God. Okay? And God exists well beyond this hand. So three stages. The Christians also use the same sort of way of explaining God. They call it, they also have Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. So what is Son? Son is the perishable. What is the Spirit? That which doesn't perish, the Holy Spirit within the Son. And then there is a Father in heaven who's beyond all of this. Same thing. Many religions have tried to explain it in this 3-stage process. All right, so I am the father of the world, I am the mother, I am the grandfather, I am the sustainer, I am the supporter, the material of this world. I am Vedyam, means that which is to be known. So different, no, from what we think is to be known. We think what is to be known at the moment is other cases rising or falling. When is lockdown opening? What is happening in my city? Smita, which city are you in? Which city? You're muted, I can't hear you.
Mumbai,
You're also in Mumbai, okay.
Andheri.
Okay, very close. Okay. So what is happening in Andheri? What is happening in Mumbai? What is happening in Hyderabad? Anita. Are the numbers going up or down? Or what is happening in Chennai? Especially when Asan can tell us how Chennai is functioning. When everybody opens a newspaper first thing in the morning, what is to be done? Naim, where are you?
I'm in Bangalore, Jankiji.
Oh, Bangalore. Okay. Hyderabad and Bangalore attend a lot of these classes. So what is happening in Bangalore? Bangalore used to be so bad. It was the worst and now it's getting better. And everybody's enthusiastic to know all these things. Every morning. What is to be known early morning? He says, Vedyam. Vedyam means what is to be known. Early morning, first thing, what is to be known? I am that. He's saying, I am, okay? Please notice. I am the mother, I am the father, I am the grandfather, I am Vedyam. And that which is to be known. I am that which is to be known implies, obviously, I am the one thing that is not known. We are so willing to fight with each other about God. My God versus your God. Dvaita versus Advaita. Shaivites versus Vaishnavites. Everyone is willing to fight about that God which nobody knows. Sabke sab pagal hi hai. How can you make statements that my God is X or Y or Z when you don't know it? And fight over it means mad or something? I am Vedyam. I am that which is to be known. And Pavitram. I am the purifier. What a beautiful usage is that. God is not only pure, He's the purifier. And I'm sure you all understand this now. How is God the purifier?
Removes worldly desire.
Sorry?
He removes our desire for the world.
He reduces our desire. He's not capable of doing anything.
By approaching Him?
What?
By approaching Him or by remembering the self, we get purified.
When you have a higher thought, the lower thought goes away. It is a purifier. It is the ultimate purifier. It is a better purifier than surf and Ariel. It cleans us better. Because when you wash your clothes in surf and Ariel, they get dirty again. But when you wash your mind in the thought of the Lord, it can't get dirty again. Once you've lost the desire, it is gone forever. In other words, you've elevated yourself. Now, no matter how much you love the Barbie doll as a child, how are you going to get that desire back? If your girlfriend goes away, you can't say, I'll take my Barbie doll for a walk. You can't do that. You can cry over your girlfriend, but you cannot take a Barbie doll. You can't go back. So it's the greatest purifier. Pavitram. It is pure, it makes us pure. It makes us pure because the higher thought removes the lower thought. It's Omkaraha. It is the syllable Om. Why syllable Om? Because Om is supposed to be the most secret symbol of the Lord. It is such a sacred symbol, not secret. It is such a sacred symbol that almost every religion has used this kind of word. If you see the Christians, they have used, okay, what is Om? Om is A-U-M. According to Ramatirtha, it's a natural word. In fact, it is not part of the Sanskrit language. It's just a word, just a sound. But it's made up of three sounds, A, U, M. Okay. A starts at the base of the throat. U is somewhere in the middle, in the mouth. Ma means your lips closed. Ma is a nasal. Lips are closed. So it's supposed to be the entire sound phenomenon. So that entire sound phenomenon is what backs any sound, right? So I am that sound phenomenon out of which you make so many sounds. So since this is it's a widely used thing. It's not just used by Vedanta. It's widely used because so many meanings. Uma represents the waking dream and deep sleep, and I am the Om that pervades it. So it's widely used, and there are wide interpretations, and it's used by all religions. The Christians use it in the form of Amen. The Muslims use it in the form of Ameen, also using the same basic structure of sound. Many religions have used this sort of symbol. So Omkar is supposed to be an ideal symbol of God. It's a symbol of God. It is not God any more than anything else. It's a symbol, and it's used as a symbol because of certain characteristics. Of all the sounds, Om is supposed to be the subtlest sound. Firstly, the subtlest symbol is a sound. How many types of symbols of God can you have? How many types of symbols of God can you have?
All the senses, I mean, sound, hearing, seeing.
Okay.
So
it's the other way around. It is objects. Not the senses, the objects. So there are 5 types of symbols you can have. The first type of symbol of God is from earth. So what are your symbols of God from earth? You have things like Vishnu Murti, you have Rama's Murti, you have a cross, you have a crescent. These are all symbols of earth. Okay, you have the Ashofarohar. No Parsis today. You're the Ashofarohar. Whatever. They're all the earth symbols. Earth symbols means what? Earth is something that can be contacted by all 5 senses. Okay, so anything made of earth, a temple, a Kaaba, a church, a mosque, fire temple, a Gurudwara, all these are earth symbols. And of course, the Murti or whatever is worshipped there. Then, second come the water symbols. The water symbols are like in Hinduism, you worship Ganga, or in the church, you get wine, or when you go into church, there's that little, what is that thing called? Just outside where you sort of put it on your eyes, that water they give you.
Holy water.
Charanamrita.
Holy water.
Charanamrita is among the Hindus, but Christians have water too. They have wine. Then Hindus have Charanamrit and Tirtham and whatever. All water symbols. Parsis have the sea also. They go to the sea and they do their ritual over there. All right, then comes the symbol which is used by everybody, which is the fire, which is the first symbol to be seen. Everybody uses fire. Havans, havans, diyas, candles, all these things come under fire symbols. Then we have air symbols. Air symbols are pertaining to smells. So agarbatti, the fragrances, the unguents, all that we use. You put chandan lep, that is all comes under the fragrances. So all the fragrances associated with divinity. So those are your smell, your air symbols. And then you have the subtlest, which are your sound symbols, which are all the sounds associated with it. And of all the various sounds, Om is supposed to be the subtlest. So it is often used even for meditation because you see, if you use any other symbol for meditation, you use any other sound like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya or Hari Om, or any other symbol that you choose to use, you always have this. Suppose you say Ram, Ram, Ram. Then when you are sitting in meditation, when you say Ram, Ram, Ram was so nice, no? But why did he treat Sita so badly? That your mind takes off. But with Om, there is no association like that. So we just do Om, Om, Om. So that's why it's considered to be a good symbol. So it's the subtlest symbol of God. So he said, I am that Om. In fact, they say Om is the Saransh, is the essence of all the Vedas. So I am that Om. I am also Ruk Sama Yaju. I am also the Vedas. I am the Vedas, I am the essence of the Vedas, I am that which is to be known by the Vedas, I am also he who wrote the Vedas. Basically, what is he saying? What is the point he's making?
All pervading.
God is all pervading. Very good. That's all. It is what it is, the Vedas. It is what you wish to reach by reading the Vedas. It is that which enables you to reach the Vedas. This is everything. Basically, he's saying God is all pervading. So I am the father of this world, mother, sustainer, grandfather. That which is to be known, the purifier, the syllable Om, and also Ruk Sama Yaja. So there are 3 Vedas. You are all familiar with 4 Vedas. Often gets spoken of as 3 Vedas because the 4th Veda is sort of treated a bit like a step-brotherly treatment. Firstly, he was born late, so he's much younger than the others. So the elder 3 brothers don't think much of him. And the first 3 Vedas are, first is Rig Veda. The Rig Veda is the oldest extant literature in the world. Very old. Different scholars want to give different times to it, whatever, that let them sort out their time issue themselves, because it's something that they have much debate on. Whatever it is, it's very old. So Rig Veda. Now the Rig Veda is lots of mantras and all. Rig Veda is important for studies usually because the other Vedas are largely just a repetition of the Rig Veda. I mean, most of the mantras are the same. Some part of it is from the Rig Veda. So firstly, there is Rig Veda. Then now the use of these mantras is in the yajnas. So these yajnas are largely given in Yajur Veda. And then after some time, I suppose they thought that we should add some more fun into the games. So Sama Veda is basically almost entirely only Rig Veda. But what happened in the case of Samaveda is they added music to it. So it was the earliest form of music. So these verses are actually sung. And the priest of the Samaveda is known as the Udgata. Udgata means one singing loudly. Udgata. Like, just sounding, loudly singing. And the 4th Veda. And so all this was basically around the yajnas. And the 4th Veda is the Atharvana Veda, which some people accept and some people don't accept. I mean, now everybody accepts it, of course, but I'm just saying historically. It is basically about other things, such as, it's called a Bheshaj Veda also. It has got more medicinal things and things like that. What upais, many upais for many problems. One of the problems it gives a upai for is if your husband has a second wife, what upai do you have? So stuff like that. So basically the first 3 Vedas are meant for royalty, rich people, very educated people, and they do these yajnas, which are massive affairs. But for people who are poorer, for people who were not really concerned with calling Indra and Varuna, but were more concerned with, "Arey, I've got fever, what shall I do about my fever?" And I'm more concerned about that. So Atharva Vena is more practical stuff like that, whatever knowledge they had at that time. Okay, so there were 4 Vedas. All 4 Vedas, the last portion contains the Upanishads. Because it comes at the end of the Vedas, it's called Vedanta. Vedanta. So what we are studying is Vedanta. We are not involving ourselves with the first 3 portions. We're only seeing the last portion, which is the philosophical truths of the Vedas. Everything else is time bound. Everything else in life has a expiry date. Only philosophy doesn't have an expiry date, because the same rules will continue till human beings exist. The same laws are going to function. Okay, so that's Bharat. A reminder for today's meeting. Yes, today's our meeting, right? We are all meeting today, or those who would like to be dedicated to it, to discuss about the Vedanta University and the course, the residential course that we are planning. Massive project, much bigger than anything else we have done so far. So let's talk about it, discuss, see what we can come up with.
Janki, is there any homework or anything we could do? I mean, not homework, but is there anything that we could read prior to coming to the class to be a little better prepared for the discussion, so that we have some, if we don't go
I tell you, basically, we have to, at the moment, we are sort of located a land. And in that land now, we have 2 things. We have to ensure that the title is right, which is going to be a long legal process. And then we have to collect funds for it. And we require some kind of expertise involved in